kan tenkun se soto no kayro se soto non damma tema karu nimol kitita albu kala fi bilala nyola koten bar ñi bunda ñi nga faale win-win because momo ini fenne kata court win and lose you either win or you lost the case but ñi ndong momo ini fenne kata win-win bari ni al sida mo la julo bela al sida al kachata ay kullandi akoy ñi watni kari sen jono ngañ ko do ba jo abam efe na sota mari bari mo la julo bela ba di len lumena di la lunkile ne bari akoy ko nga wati dila ñi wati kari wo be ni domani sotole wala win-win so wo kan mbal be tentula mbal jayla kula mi alon ko ndamanta keno la jang masakunda do kulal be daba ko kono de pour kaje ko akoye tama politician ol député ol ani masakunda fan président na la kafo mol be daba ko kono pour kaje akoye tama sefol mimbe bankol kan commandant be nyantaje la ko akoye tama security forces ifane yaje ko bunda ñi ay tama pour la do ko mbe bulu ase tala na manke criminal case olti wonte wol tala wala mo fa kolti anin ka nyapin kam mol kan anin kam mol la nafulo kasara nambara fan ya kan te wol tala bar o kola fen kata mol dam tema kene ku problème mol anin nab kabilo kono ko dal kono nga kol mi so dam tema ndol kacha no la pour kawol bang pour kaje ko ka kiti faylol mbem bulu se tala nyama mi alon ko kar woro mo il lafta min na court house isa sotono magistrate te batala pour ka criminal case ol tamandi because ne criminal case ol magistrate ol bulu civil case ol be bulu aka siele banni bunna so mi alon ko civil case ol ngawol di wolla wolbe magistrate ol fasala so wobi do ko sonan la magistrate ol bulu ani jojol pour kaje ko jurabal min fulan kana banko kan ise jiko sor man sakunda to ko yara fan nyinde nyi bundabe gambiale so ase hamodi la pour kana gambia kana ila julaya kolke ani la kuko mi yalon ko abe kala banko dingle nafa kolti so mbal tentula mbal jayla bunda nyi keda bundal ci ameta janne kar wol bank la bunda nat nanjang bari abunda nata naso dol so komanto nga kata kujama ke akuo kono bari nyato ngaf jama nyato ko la falen ni kol kenya way kol murundi koma bari ala chief justice la nyato nga koto asan bi dialo a conseil landi pour kaje ko bunda ay lo banko kan pour kam mol nafa ay banko nafa ay bari be ay kembe karot ala baraka bak nakiti bunda alhamdulillah sainte gambia ngam fan su jojol soto miltada supreme court judges nga joj warula soto milialon ko wonena man soto gambia banko kan tariko kono ñine keda signa foloti pour supreme court nga joj warula soto je jojol mialon ko gambia ding loyti court of appeal nga joj saba soto je milialon ko gambia ding loyti nga high court jojol soto jang wol kono mo fula dronnom moti mialon ko mbadingol mialon ko Nigeria ani Ghana wol di molla pour ni se do ko ke alata ko la mo fulol wol lebe mol bulu high court jang so mbakan ne fere pour kaje ko gambia ding ke sandi do ko kono because hino ni balafa abe bading le bulu wandi mote ase hina soro bari bading mi yemil long ni mi boda banku killing wala hino ka wara dan imam mil long adung alay mol dema president la dema roto anin chief justice ala nyaton kay koto judicial secretary wol bebi jang wol ba kata kan pour kaje ko nyim kol isetama nga ngane nyame nga bunda ko dol fana yele banko kan mil keda high court bundung do ko be kerine pour bundu français high court sotono am ate jarela pour ka bonam fo kombo kana jang ise danno bundung o kanifing high court bi jele brikama fanan mbe kada kol ke kan pour ka kidi bundal kafu pour ka je ko brikama pour ka kallaji kata katon a wartale a fanutale so pour ka kidi bundal kafu west coast o fana mu kulati mba kata kane pour wo fana se keno mbete momi do nga jojo ki basse o jojo be sabere basele akado ko ke basele aman jare pour jojo ko den kada je o mol kana jang so be mu kulati mi alon ko banko mol la wakilo anila sayo anila nyo fasa wole o keno. Thank you very much. Ngamera metem so sorry ngamere metem bo min to teng e be silo kanne pour kana nya tulo balale police ban inila tamborol be kumakan na mol bakan ibe nakan doman pour ngaje ko ben ñing fon sa commencé no sain wakan ala baraka Minister ba minkeda Minister of Justice ti mol doku nyolom mol la kebalom e ka fo mi Alhaji Dawda Diallo molo mi alon ko afanan karanta yim bankun kan janne ayala lonno ke ni ñi bankun kan janne aya soto ñi bankun kan janne.
Well, viewers, if you're just joining us, you're reminded that you're watching iAfrica TV from Banjul here, and today we're witnessing the official opening of the legal year of 2020 to 2022. And right now, as you are seeing in the images, these are the judges and magistrates together with Qadis and traditional tribunal judges, which are the chiefs. They were just from the polyclinic where they went to welcome the president, His Excellency Adama Barrow, who would today be the special guest here. And mbokk yi kon ñu jaajëfal leen bu baax a baax bu fekkee yéen ak ñuy doog a jot nii ci iAfrica TV ñu fàttali leen ne yéen ak ñoo seetaane fii ci biir Banjul li ñu fi tax a ñëw tey nag mooy official opening bu legal year bi buñ ne official opening bu legal year bi nag mooy pour ubbi li nga xam ne nag mooy at ju bees ci wàllu lii di wàllu atte ak yoon fii ci biir réew mi li ko dee sabab nag ci biir réew bu ne saa su ne mooy pour ñu fàttali wala boog pour ñu saytuwaat liggéeyu atte ak yoon ci biir réew mi naka la tiralee ci at bi ñu weesu yenn ci ay jafe-jafe yi nga xam ne ci ñu ngi ko doon jànkonteel ci seen wàllu liggéey gi itam pour ñu mën koo mën a xàmmee it seet naka lañ ko saafaree leneen nit dina ci bokk tam muy yenn ci ay pexe yu bees wala ay xalaat yu bees yi nga xam ne bëgg nañ ko ci lal pour yokk lii di liggéey gi tam dina ci dee am solo lool pour ñu waxtaanee ko li ñuy gis nii nag mooy ñii di àttekat yi judge si magistrate si ak ñi nga xam ne tam ñoom ñooy àtte ci suñuy local tribunal si ñu gën leen a xamee ci chief si kaddu yi itam bokk nañ ci tam ñii ñoo demoon pour tàccu di kii di président bi di His Excellency président Adama Barrow pour mu war a ñëw ndax tey moom moo nekk gan gu tedd gi ci ndaje gi nii tey ji muy njiitu réew mi donc moom it la gars yi demoon tàccu ji laata muy agsi fii ci biir géew gi badiwul kal bisimila ngal tentu bake nalbe altol melbe iAfrica TV jube kan kal hakkelo bulandi ko mbe Banjul mbe tembo mento janto andu mbe dame Banjul janto wolong ate high court premises andu meye mul si janto wolong nying legal ear opponent ye nalio moy hate tubabu count wolon sang haka ke siloti pour ka je ko ye kiti bula anin ko kuma ya lon ko kiti ko lo membe banko kanjanto pour ka yele andum bi memba yella jam wolon banko nyaton ko te his excellency president adama baro ha sababu momenti fanam wolon pour ka juber ke ila doko la sawnyin kono akita nyame kole ya kole melta ki ila doko nyin kono wala fanang successful mel mu ku kendol ci yemen ke ila do kol nyim fanan kono pour ka jube wo kol be la fa no la nyame nin kol ya kol lom fanan pour ka jube wo kol ya kol be bay no la nyame wala be jara no la nyame wo fanan si kuma ya bake do ko nyin kono ando al ya je nyame kom nga yita dal lako hate mela nyato domande ndorom banko nyato ko be futala janto memu his excellency president adama baroti kato atelong ya telebu nyato di nyin luna pour ayeke chief guest of honor andung na futatanen danong kachanying wala luonyim dabe yella bari tembo mento ate George Sol aning high court aning magistrate ol tatanung atele bendu policlinico andung comme ninko kitio banko kan kitio man court dula dama aning high court ol aning ko kote bari fanang jele ko kadiol fanang bijang wodu mukita kuti mayalon ko akuma tabake do ko nyim fanang kono jang mbokk yi comme ni ngi leen ko doon waxee rek fi ñu nekk nii nag gannaaw ba nga xam ne dem nañ tàccu ji kii di njiiti réew mi ñu ngi koy séntu nag fii ci ay diir yu gàtt rek pour mu mun a ñëw ndax lii di ndaje gi mën a tàmbali comme ni ngi leen ko waxee woon ci njëlbeen ñi na ngay gis ci images yi lii di ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñooy judges yi ak ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñooy magistrates yi ñëpp agsi nañ fi mu nekk nii di xaaragum kii di président bi di njiiti réew mi pour mu war a dugg si ci lii di jotaay gi ñee tey kon dinañ demagum ak lii di image si laata kii di président bi di dugg si pour ma mun a jotagum man tam suma position. Okay, what we just witnessing right now is the arrival of Her Excellency the Vice President of the Republic, Dr. Aissatou Toure, and she would be welcomed by some of the security chiefs here and the Chief Justice of the Gambia, and that's the parade welcoming her. mbokk yi liñ jot a seet noonu mooy li ñu gis ni mooy bëkk néegu njiiti réew mi di High Excellency Dr. Aissatou Touré moom mu ngee doog a teew si te bu accès it comme niñ ko dee defee ci àdd ak cosaan ci biir réew mi fii di ñooy teral dalal ko ci biir kër gi nag mooy ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñooy yi yore wàllu kaaraange gi ak kii di Chief Justice ñi nga xam ne moom itam moo jiite lépp lu jëm ci wàllu atte ak yoon ci biir réew mi fii moom vice président bi ñu ngi ko gis nag mu ngi nuyu na minister of justice kooku di IGP itam jox na ko ciram lu bari ki nga xam ne it ñii ñoo yore lii di kaaraange gi ci biir réew mi ñoom it delloo nañ ko njukkalam daal di ko jox ci loolu moom docteur Aissatou Touré mu ngi dox noonu pour dugg ci fi nga xam ne nag moom mooy complexe bi badiwul comme aliaje ñameng image solto ate Her Excellency Dr. Aissatou Touré le futata nan janto même vice president oti ate dung menyaji wolong chief security chief sol mel bi jang anim fanang ate chief justice kata fanang minister of justice abe dunna court complex luo kam pour kata ala siranta andung comme aka kenya men janto vice president of futata any moment from now we would be expecting the president his excellency President Barrow to join us here. mbokk yi comme ni nga ko gisee rek xam naa du ñàkk ci kanam tuuti rek dinañ expect kii di président bi di his excellency président Adama Barrow pour mu war a agsi ndax kii di vice président bi agsi na already then viewers, as you can see that was the vice president Dr. Aissatou Touré, and as I had just said before, as a norm in our official ceremonies, once we see Her Excellency the Vice President, we would be expecting to see the President, and we expecting the President any moment from now to come in. kon mbokk yi ni ngi leen ko waxee rek xam naa dinañ delloowaat antenne bi ngeen ànd ak images yi laata ñuy dellu si waat pour welcome ki di président bi muy président Barrow bu accès fii. ok ñu ànd ak police band ba ci kanam tuuti laata loolu. very well. Liñ jot a dégg mooy police ban bu Gambia ñoom ñoo doon entertain tuuti ñi fi nekk ci li jëm ci wàllu ndaje bi ñu ngi dégg sirène baa ngi ñëw kon ñu ngi expect ne His Excellency President Barrow would be arriving in any moment from now from the State House to the venue here at the court complex. Badul kom nga sireno muy nyamendo njikital ko His Excellency President Barrow futala nan janto any moment from now because nga jele ko security chief sol ye la position ta pour ka bendung ka jia ng ñindulato mbokk yi gis nañ security chief si bokk na ci di Excellency the Vice President ñu ngi taxaw pour waajal teeru kii di président bi pour mu agsi ci fii di court complex bi as we are all hearing that siren which it's a clear indication that His Excellency the President would be arriving at the court complex any moment from now, and we can also see security chiefs, the Chief Justice and the Minister of Justice all are set to welcome the President to the court complex here. To remind you, just we here gathering today to witness the official opening of the legal year here in the country, and the guest, the special guest, of course, is the President, His Excellency President Barrow, who we are expecting to be here in any moment from now. mbokk yi comme niñ leen ko waxee rek ñu fàttali leen ne tey suñ daje bi fii tey li ko waral mooy at ju bees ci wàllu lii di atte ak réew mi la ñuy ubbi te niñ ko dee defee saa su nekk mooy kii di njiiti réew mi moom moo dee nekk moom lañ ciral ndaje gi wala moom lañ ciral bés bi te loolu waral na it ñu ngi koy séntu fii comme niñ ko gisee daal ne ci kanam tuuti moom njiiti réew mi dina agsi fii ndax gis nañ chief of protocol bi moom agsi na ñu gis tam kii di président bi muy vice président bi moom agsi na already comme niñ leen ko waxee woon ci ginnaaw te fi mu nekk ni moom ñu ngi séntu ne daal moom président any moment from now dina agsi fii badiwul ate banko nyatonko mbe jikirin ko abe futala nan jan sain katung ate chief protocol of futata nan GCCT and kang ate the president wala be tarla je ngala mo to jele fa futata nan already abe dunkan luo kono moto bi ñuy seen noonu di PR bi boobu moo nekk oto njiitu réew mi kon jort nañ ne moom ci boppam léegi tey mu dugg si ci biir géew gi ndax lépp li war la pour teeru bi teeru ko fii ci biir complexe bi daanaka yëpp antu na niñ nekk di gis ni mooy ñu ngi koy waaja dalal pour mu wàcc ci lii di otom bi badiwul nga jële ate president la auto futata nang luoto sanya mentuta dorong wolong IG aning molye nyo kontom memu chief justice ti aning fanang minister of justice nyo kontong aning vice president o nyo kontong kang ate IGP ala bunya diala aning fanang security chiefs dolmel bijang ibe fana yela bunya diala Usman Gomez ngajele meng ya long ko atelong ate fana mu commandal ci Gambia Armed Forces sanya president o His Excellency President Barrow anin chief justice be taman na ibe kachakan andung purkaji abe on nin kono ya sanya abe podium nin tala me along ko abe ala abe mulja ibaji ala dame afutata wolto sañ be tembo mento jang mbokk yi niñ ko gisee nag moom président bi jël na podium bi ñu ànd ak national anthem bi doon dégg noonu mooy bàkku réew mi tey it séntu woon nañ ko ci ndaje gi nga meng jen em moynu wolong Gambia banko la foroya juloti handung mbe jikiri nun ko nyin ka sotol wato wat ate banko nyaton ko dumbe taman na pour que nyin jojol ani magistratol kontong bayri alyalon ko mbe covid-19 la jamano kono blu dio bukake barika ñoo kontom fana wo buka bayno mbokk yi comme niñ ko gisee rek moom président bi mu ngi nuyuwante ak ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñooy magistrate yi ak judges yi xam ne ñoo fi nekka nuyu na ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñooy judges yi te kum ci nuyu ku ne dem nga pour jëli lii di sa pour dem toogi léegi ba mu pare ci judges yi mu ngi nuyu ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñooy kaadi yi ñenn ci ñoom muy ñetti ci ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñooy kaadi yi njëkk a taxaw ci line bi moom ñooñu la nekk di nuyoogum laata muy continuer ak ki nga xam ne mooy njiitu kaadi yi pour mu introduce ko xamal ko ku ci nekk kan la ak ku ci nekk lan mooy liggéeyam ndax ñu ngi gis chief justice bi tam mu ngi topp ci ginnaawam pour xamal ko ñi nga xam ne ñoom lay nuyu ku ci nekk turam wala ku ci nekk fa nga xam ne foofu la féete ci wàllu liggéey bi. As we can all see, His Excellency is greeting the judges and the magistrates and the caddies who were here waiting for his arrival. And right now he is greeting with he is greeting the caddies, of course, before now heading to the other lane because it's a two lane. Mbokk yi niñ ko nekk di gisee noonu la mooy moom jiiti réew mi mu ngi continuer di nuyuwanteeg gars yi fi mu nekk nii ci kadi yi la tollu abe kadiol le kontonka nga ñintembo la ni nga kadiol la kumo fodu nga wollo multimedia lon ko wolle ka kitio te dino la karola wolon sariyan la karola Gambia banko kan janto kadi nak mooy ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñooy atte ci wàllu lii di diine maanaam wàllu sariya ñoom it ci wàllu atte gi lañ féete waral na be njiiti réew mi it mu ngi leen doon nuyu bu jógee ci loolu tam dina dem nuyuwaat yi ñeneen ci ñi nga xam ne it ñoom it ñoom ñooy judge si waaye ñoom ñooy magistrate si waaye mu ngi mel ni protocole boobu change na waaye ba tey moom jiiti réew mi ñi nga xam ne ñoom la àndal noonu mooy chief justice bi ak minister of justice ci boppam ñoo ko sandwich muy maanaam ñoo ko def ci digg noonu sekk ko lii li muy wane mooy ñoom moom bés bi tey buñ nee mbiru àtte ak yoon daal chief justice bi ak minister of justice ñoom ñoo ko moom te bésub tey bi comme niñ leen ko waxee woon rek ci njëlbeen pour waxtaan ak kii di kilifa gi la wala pour xamal lii di kilifa gi tam yenn ci gàllankoor yi nga xam ne dinañ koy jànkuwanteel ci seen wàllu liggéey ak ndam liñ ci am itam pour ñu waxtaanee ko loolu dina leen ubbil bunte it pour ñu seet naka lañ leen mun a jàppalee ba liggéey boobu gën a yomb mu ngi continuer pour dem nuyu wante ak ñii di magistrates yi lawyers yi nga xam ne ñoom it ñu ngi ñëw fii tey ci bés bi pour witness li pour seede lii. Still, as we can see in the images, His Excellency President Barrow is still greeting the magistrates and some lawyers who are still there waiting for him before the official ceremony would start. And we're hearing the police band in the background. Comme lii fii nekk di am léegi dañ leen bàyyi ngeen demagum ak images yi nga xam ne yooyu lañ nekk di gis mooy njiiti réew mi di nuyu ñii di judges yi ak magistrates lawyers yi taxaw pour tàcc ko fii laata ñuy dellu si waat di dugg ci court complexe bi dinañ leen bàyyi ngeen àndagum ak images yooyu. Badiul kom nga fo nyame janimbe murula kadung court complex o nyeng kono balbulala ani nying imeji soleta ansany wolong ate president o benyil kontong kan nyame melmu magistrate solti anim fanan judge sol hakita ku kuma balti Gambia banko kan janimbe dun ate complex o nyeng kono ninya nying kontondiro yeta flo. ok mbokk yi comme ni nga ko gisee léegi nii moom président bi pare na ci nuyuwante bi ak ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñooy magistrate yi judges yi ak ñii di kaadi yi léegi mu ngi dugga si ci court complexe bi pour wala jël position am laata ñuy tàmbali li nga xam ne moom mooy cérémonie bi tey fii badiwul comme nga je ñameng ate banko ñaton ko yebande kontondiro la sa abe men ke kan wolon pour kadung court complexe ñin kono pour ka la sironta janing evento ñimbe start la. As we can all see, His Excellency have just completed or is just entering the court complex, and now we expecting him to take his seat, and after that, any moment from now, the ceremony would start.
President Mrs. Jalosi to welcome the guests who are present here today. Welcome everyone here present. We thank you all for taking your time, despite all challenges, for you to be here today to grace this occasion with us. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning. Your Excellency the President, President Adam Barrow, Your Excellency Madam Vice President, His Lordship the Honorable Chief Justice of the Gambia, representatives of the members of the National Assembly, Honorable Judges of the Supreme Courts, Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Your Worships, the magistrates and cadis present here, Honorable Ministers present, Secretary General and Head of the Civil Service, Secretary to Cabinet, Service Chiefs, distinguished members of the Gambian Bar, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, permanent secretaries and heads of institutions, the Director General, Gambia Law School, governors, chiefs, members of the district tribunals, venerable religious leaders, members of staff of the Judiciary and the Ministry of Justice, colleagues, the press, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I simply say all protocols duly and respectfully observed. I welcome you heartily. I am Aissatou Diallo, the Judicial Secretary. I am privileged to greet you and extend a very warm welcome this morning. It is now my pleasure as tradition demands in our beloved country, to call upon the representative of the Imam Ratib of Banjul to lead us in Muslim prayer. Ya Imam Tafadal.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين maa ngi nuyu His Excellency Président Adama Barrow ak cabinetam yëpp Vice Président ak cabinet bi yëpp di nuyu Honorable Chief Justice Assane Diallo su ma ko nuyu naa judiciaire bi yëpp ma nuyu Ba association président Ba association su ma ko nuyu naa ñëpp nuyu kilifa yi fi toog yëpp di sant yàlla ci bés bi nga xam ne yàlla mee nañu fekkee ko fekkee woon ne ñeneen ci gannaaw ñuy ñaan yal nañ fekkee yu bari ci kanam bu ci ñëw rek gën a taxaw morom ka ñuy ñaan yàlla yow suñ borom ñii nga xam ne ñoo toog fii tey ñoom ñooy suñ yaakaar ci doxal li nga xam ne mooy njub ci réew mi bon ñu ngi laa ñaan yoo yàlla yal nga leen may wér may leen yokk seen xel may leen xel muy xel yi ba tax ñu mun a ràññee dëgg ak lu dul dëgg ba nga xam ne lépp luñ àtte ñu am ci sa ngërmande yoo yàlla ñu ngi laa ñaan loolu yal nga ñu ko defal te feebar bi la nga xam ne mu ngi ci dëkk bii nekk ci àddina yëpp yàlla ñu ngi laa ñaan yal nga ko teggi ci kaw suuf ñu ngi laa ñaan yaa Rabbi ñi nga xam ne jot nañ ko am yal nga leen wéral ngir yow yaay wéral yaay docteur bi wéral yow yaay wéral fi xawli kun fa yakun bon yal nga leen wéral ñi nga xam ne jot na leen a lor sa yërmande romba na nga defal leen xiiwal ca bar sax yow ma xiyaam nga atte leen sa yërmande tabal leen àjjana yàlla mun na ko sañ na ko yal na ko yàlla def rabbana atina fi dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina azaban nar rabbana innana sami'na munadiyan yunadi lil iman an aminu bi rabbikum fa amana rabbana faghfir lana dhunubana wa kaffir anna sayyi'atina wa tawaffana ma'al abrar rabbana wa atina ma wa'adtana ala rusulik wa la tukhzina yawmal qiyamati innaka la tukhliful mi'ad برمة اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أخلق والهاتم لما سبح الناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره مدار العظيم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين برمة لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله سيدنا محمد رسول الله آمين يا رب العالمين.
Shukran, Ya Imam. May Allah answer the prayers and grant us a successful legal year. I will now invite our dear learned colleague, Mr. Bola Carol, to lead us in Christian prayers. You are welcome.
Our Father, great God of nations, we draw nigh to you in humility. We thank you to have brought us this far. And we thank you that this ceremony will be one that you would watch over. Because unless you watch over the city, the watchmen watch in vain. Lord God, we pray that you may endow your servants from the cleaners in this institution to the Chief Justice, everybody in this institution, and they may endow them with wisdom, discretion, and may their work be done as an act of worship. And today we lift this ceremony up into your hands, O Lord. May your goodness fall upon this assembly. May you bless every deliberation here, every speech is made. And we pray that your kingdom will come in the judiciary. And we say, oh Lord, bless this judiciary. Let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. And as we are ministers in the court, in the temple of justice, we pray that your blessing would flow and that your peace would reign over this assembly and evermore. Amen.
Thank you. May the good Lord answer the prayers and bless this august gathering. It is indeed a pleasure to receive you here today on the grounds of the Superior Courts of the Gambia for the celebrations of the 2021 legal year. Speeches will be done by various stakeholders in the judiciary, in the justice delivery system, including the Honorable Chief Justice, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, and the address of the launching of the judicial plan will be done by His Excellency President Adama Barrow. I wish to recognize the presence of the law students who have successfully completed their training at the law school and will be called to the Gambian bar tomorrow. We welcome you wholeheartedly and wish you a successful career in the legal profession. Legal Year is a stock-taking event for the legal fraternity. It is to outline achievements, challenges, and plan activities, and look forward to the future and dedicate ourselves to greater respect of the rule of law. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, may have observed one difference this year, which is the launching of the Judiciary Strategic Plan. Today marks a special day in the life of the Gambian judicial system. We have had teasers about its arrival, and now at last it is here. This is a day when the Judiciary Strategic Plan is to be launched, and we are privileged to be part of this milestone in the history of the judicial system. We know that the wish for our judicial system is ultimately to bring the best in the world, but it takes more than a wish to reach that goal. The well-known proverb says, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. So it is not about wishes. Only, although it is important to be driven by wish, by desire, by dream, that is important and has its place. But it is also about a plan to make dreams come true, a strategic plan. And still we have to go further because the dream and the strategic plan are not enough. The key to long-term success is in the execution. A wise person once reflected that without execution, strategy is useless. And without strategy, execution is aimless. And so we now anticipate the unveiling of the strategic plan, which we of the judiciary stand to execute. I now invite you to enjoy the opening of the legal year 2021 with a sense of eagerness, excitement, expectation, and gratitude. And it is with pleasure that I now invite the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, who is no stranger to us, to make a statement. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. You are welcome.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, Your Excellency, Madam Vice President, the Republic of the Gambia, my Lord Chief Justice, Justices of the Superior Courts, Magistrates and Cadis, Honorable Ministers here present, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, members of the Gambia Bar Association, members and staff of the judiciary, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. This is my first speech at the opening of the legal year as Attorney General and Minister of Justice, and also the leader of the bar. In this regard, I would like to commence by saying that I aim to maintain honor and dignity of this office and to execute the duties bestowed upon me by the Constitution and other laws of the Gambia to the best of my ability. Having been given the opportunity to address this august gathering, allow me to emphasize that the hallmark of a legal year signifies ushering of a new legal term that avails us the opportunity to reflect on our achievements, legal profession, and the manner in which it's practiced. It further presents an opportunity for the evaluation of areas in the administration of justice for improvement. The judiciary has continued to make significant improvements under the leadership of Honorable Chief Justice Hassan B. Jallow. The decentralization of the judiciary and the rejuvenation of the district tribunals and its increased access to justice for the generalized citizenry, the Gambianization of the judiciary, the full composition and constitution of all superior courts, the full operationalization of the Judicial Training Institute, tasked with the training of judges, magistrates, and cadis, just to name a few of the notable achievements since the beginning of the transition. Your Excellencies, my lords, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our legal system is progressively steering towards addressing the diverse needs, rights, and aspirations of our people, experience of justice. Consequently, this ministry has taken it upon itself to review legislations that are regarded as discriminatory and insensitive towards the rights of women, and have thus put forward before the National Assembly the Married Women's Property Amendment Bill, the Skin Bleaching Prohibition Repeal Bill 2020, Domestic Violence Amendment Bill 2020, Women's Amendment Bill 2020, Labor Amendment Bill 2020, the Basic and Secondary Education Amendment Bill 2020, among others. The essence of these amendments is to be in compliance with the periodic review of legislation which this government is committed as part of its legislative agenda to ensure further compliance with our international obligations as enshrined in conventions to the elimination of all forms of discrimination against women and the protocol to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights on the Rights of Women in Africa. I recently participated alongside the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, and the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights at a high-level side event at the 75th anniversary of the United Nations on the theme, Participation, Human Rights, and Governance Challenges Ahead. The platform was to bring to the attention of the world the need to increase equal participation and inclusion of all citizenry in the political process to address issues of development, poverty reduction, equality, and human rights. It was recognized that participation is a fundamental human right which all government must promote and protect. Meaningful participation of all segments of society will enhance decision-making process of any government in its governance agenda. As a ministry, we will accordingly continue to encourage widespread consultation and inclusion in all aspects of our transition process. Within the context of our human rights agenda, the Gambia continues to pursue with vigor the case of Rohingyas as a case filed against Myanmar at the International Court of Justice, accusing Myanmar of genocide against the Rohingya Muslims minority. You will recall that on the 23rd of January last year, unanimous decision by the ICJ ordering provisional measures to prevent further acts of genocide from occurring in Myanmar was made by the court. The Gambia has now filed a full memorial before the court for the case to proceed on its merits. As the chair of the African Union Specialized Technical Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, I continue to represent the Gambia in the consideration of AU draft treaties and other legal instruments and documents surveying international law with a view to selecting topics for the codification within the AU legal frameworks, as well as following up on issues concerning the signature, ratification, accession, domestication, and implementation of AU treaties. Your Excellencies, my lords, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as a sovereign country, the Gambia continues to defend its natural resources to ensure our sustainable development not only before the domestic courts, but also at international tribunals, such as the International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes and the International Commercial Court. Recently, the Gambia benefited from an out-of-court settlement resulting in payment of $6.9 million to the government to form part of legal cost reimbursement and signature bonuses, as well as dropping all claims against the government. This could not have been accomplished without the diligent work of the staff of the Ministry of Justice and the Ministry of Petroleum. Your Excellencies, my lords, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the work of the Ministry of Justice does not stop in ensuring that its domestic legislations mirrors that of international standards and obligations. It equally oversees other satellite agencies such as the National Agency for Legal Aid, NALA, National Agency Against Trafficking in Persons, NATIP, and the Alternative Dispute Resolution Secretariat. In highlighting the achievements so far, the National Agency for Legal Aid has for several years struggled with lack of proper infrastructure and low budgetary funding, which ultimately led to capacity constraints and the effective delivery of its duties. I am proud to say that the agency has now moved into a new office premises located in Kanifi Municipality, which facilitates effective dispensation of its mandates. I must emphasize that the rate of human trafficking has become a global menace, and a transnational organized crime that has raised serious concern, and unfortunately the Gambia has also not been spared. The 2019 Trafficking in Persons report found the government of the Gambia does not fully meet the minimum standards for the elimination of trafficking, and thus placed us under Tier 3, putting the Gambia on a very low level of combating trafficking. However, the Gambia improves its position in 2020 and now upgraded to Tier 2. Currently, the agency has also recently completed its Trafficking in Persons Report 2020-2021 to the U.S. Department of State. For the avoidance of doubt, I wish to reiterate that the Gambia is fully committed in combating trafficking and the smuggling of migrants to ensure its territory is not used as a hub for the pursuit of such illegal activities. Recently, as Attorney General and Minister of Justice, I have directed the establishment of a task force comprising the National Agency Against Trafficking in Persons, the Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Women Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and all law enforcement agencies chaired by the National Human Rights Commission to investigate and come up with findings, recommendations of the recently repatriated 38 returnees from Rebellion, trafficked for the purpose of domestic servitude, and to look into the circumstances surrounding the departure of the girls from the Gambia and their stay in Lebanon. I am happy to report that the National Human Rights Commission have submitted in their findings and recommendation, which is now before Cabinet for consideration. The objective of this is to assert one very simple principle. The government of the Gambia will not tolerate acts or omission designed to encourage human trafficking in the Gambia, and is determined to uphold and take all necessary steps to combat this menace. The Alternative Dispute Resolution Secretariat continues to play a pivotal role by providing alternative resolution mechanisms designed to promote the speedy dispensation of justice and decongestion of the courts. Your Excellencies, my lords, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on the draft constitution, I am pleased to state that considerable progress has been made by political parties in arriving at a consensus on the draft constitution. It is my hope that the various issues canvassed and agreed upon during the consultation will find expression in the new draft constitution, which will soon be tabled before the National Assembly after gazetting as required by the Constitution. I wish to take this opportunity to thank International IDEA for their technical leadership in this process, as well as HE, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, for conducting the mediation. I must also express my profound thanks and appreciation to the leaders of all political parties who participated in the process. The mediation process had taught us that, notwithstanding our differences, we could sit as Gambians to dialogue and resolve our own problems. This evidently was one factor that strongly emerged from the mediation process. Your Excellencies, my lords, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I have visited countries in the sub-region, such as Ghana and Nigeria, to seek assistance, to assist us with experts in the short to the medium term to build capacity and help with the prosecution of the criminal department, litigation in civil and international law department, and the legislative drafting department. The visit is anticipated to yield fruitful results in the recruitment of a director of public prosecution, other technical experts to support and build capacity in the various departments within the ministry. In the pursuit of continuous professional development, the ministry just recently concluded a 2-day capacity building program for staff within the various departments of the ministry to develop and improve their skills and knowledge of legal drafting under the aegis of the Association of Legislative Drafters and Advocacy Practitioners of Nigeria, and with support from the United Nations Development Programme. The training was complemented by the provision of numerous current journals on the legislative drafting from ALDRAP for the use of Council. Furthermore, Ministry of Justice Council also participated on a training on commercial and investment contract negotiation strategies delivered by the International Development Law Organization with support from the Kuwaiti Fund for Arab Economic Development. It is my personal desire as the Attorney General that such trainings are conducted on routine basis to develop an Attorney General's Chambers Academy of well-trained professionals. Your Excellencies, my lords, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry of Justice is taking further steps in the digitalization of its registry department with the commencement of the implementation process of the Gambia Intellectual Property Policy 2018-2023. This process is being undertaken by the National Intellectual Property Council under the auspices of the Ministry of Justice. Several activities are earmarked to take place, such as the engagement of the PR firm to create intellectual property awareness, acceding to relevant intellectual property agreements, IP office automation, capacity building for IP office staff, among others. Moreover, the draft Intellectual Property Bill 2020 has been validated by stakeholders. This bill is progressive and contains important international provisions that will make the Gambia an example as far as standard intellectual property laws are concerned. Additionally, the Gambia has acceded to the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization Protocol on the Registration of Trademark, otherwise known as the Banjul Protocol. This protocol was adopted in Banjul in 1993, hence the name Banjul. This accession recently is expected to increase our revenue base and foreign exchange earnings. With regards to the registration of deeds, the first phase of registration system is completed. The office is now able to electronically register and store all instruments in a more efficient and less time-consuming manner. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot conclude without acknowledging my fellow learned colleagues at the bar for also playing their part in ensuring the smooth dispensation of justice in the Gambia. I look forward to working with both the bench and the bar in making legal profession and the practice of law an exemplary one. In this spirit, I wish you all a happy and successful legal year. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister and Attorney General. It shows the continuous support for the judiciary. We appreciate your kind words and commitment to cooperate with us as we aim to reach our targets, which we now have on record, streaming live in Africa. Honorable Chief Justice, you must feel proud that today is the day of the launch. It has not been easy to reach here, but we are here now, supporting you, and we expect to deliver for the good of the Gambia. It is refreshing to hear the Chief Justice speak about his brainchild. Anytime His Lordship speaks, you are about to learn something new. We are solidly behind you and with you as you strive to make this plan a reality. It is always stimulating. And so we wait to hear what His Lordship has to say. Now we hear from the Chief Justice himself, and I have the honor and privilege to invite His Lordship, Mr. Justice Hassan B. Jalo, CRG, to deliver his report on the achievements registered, planned activities for the legal year. You are welcome, my Lord.
Your Excellency, President of the Republic, Mr. Adama Barrow, Your Excellency, the Vice President, Honorable Judges of the Superior Courts, Honorable Attorney General, Minister of Justice, and Leader of the Bar, Your Worships, Magistrates and Cadis, Honorable Ministers, Your Excellencies, members of the National Assembly, and members of the Diplomatic Corps, the Honorable Chairperson of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission, the Director General of the Gambia Law School, state law officers, members of the bar, governors, chiefs, members of the district tribunals, venerable religious leaders, members of staff of the judiciary and of the Attorney General's chambers, distinguished guests, I am greatly honored and pleased indeed to welcome Your Excellency, the President of the Republic, Mr. Adama Barrow, on behalf of the judiciary and the entire legal profession to the premises of the judiciary, and as our chief guest on this auspicious occasion of the opening of the 2021 legal year. We continue to appreciate immensely not only Your Excellency's availability for such occasions, but also for Your Excellency's continued commitment to judicial independence and efficiency, to the rule of law, and to promoting good governance in the Gambia. A very, very warm welcome is also extended to all our distinguished guests. Thank you all for coming. The object of this occasion, now a regular item on the state annual calendar since 1982, continues to be the same. That is an occasion for stock-taking of the machinery of justice, reflection on the challenges, and dialogue on the way forward to meeting those challenges and to promoting the rule of law in our community through the delivery of quality justice. A number of other activities are thus planned for the rest of this week, which will provide such an opportunity, including a call to the bar tomorrow, the 1st of February, of some 51 Gambians who have successfully completed the vocational stage of their training at the Gambia Law School and are now poised for a career at the bar, short of doing their pupillage. I would like the 51 to rise, to stand, and to be acknowledged and to be thanked. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Then we have a workshop on 2nd February to diagnose the shortcomings of the court-connected alternative dispute resolution system, and the object is to identify the measures for the revival of the system in order to promote greater resort to out-of-court settlements in civil cases. We will also have the launching of the UNDP Rule of Law Roadmap. And finally, on the 3rd of February, there will be a forum of justice stakeholders which will bring together the bench and the bar, the National Assembly, the executive, representatives of civil society and of the media to discuss the challenges of effective justice and how the various stakeholders working together or on their own can promote quality justice and the rule of law. Your Excellency and distinguished guests, the past year has been a challenging one for the administration of justice, due largely to the COVID-19 pandemic. this scourge has indeed posed severe challenges to all aspects of life and activity in the Gambia, but also globally. The machinery of justice has not been spared, just as with other spheres of the public service and indeed of human activity. The dangers to health and to life posed by it required us to take strict measures for the preservation and safeguarding of the health and safety of both judiciary staff and of court users. Initial measures took the form of stringent personal sanitary measures, reduction of the number of persons in a courtroom at any time, and the reduction of the number of cases that each court could attend to daily. Priority, however, continued to be devoted to the hearing and determination of criminal cases, particularly of those who are in remand custody. At the height of the pandemic, the court proceedings had to be suspended briefly due to the increased risk to court users, and also in conformity with the then existing emergency regulations. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, the dark cloud of COVID-19 hanging over the machinery of justice did not, however, come without its proverbial silver lining. Whilst the pandemic did in the course of 2020 slow down and interrupt court operations, it also encouraged the judiciary, indeed the legal profession, to explore new and alternative ways of administering justice, more particularly at how technology can be harnessed to overcome the challenges of the pandemic and to keep the wheels of justice turning. In order to mitigate, if not overcome, the constraints of public hearing of cases requiring the physical presence of all parties and the public in the courtroom, a system of remote hearings using technology was, with the assistance of the UNDP, introduced last year on a pilot basis, and it was run in 2 high courts, respectively presided over by the Honorable Justice Amina Saho Sise and the Honorable Justice Senamu Wada Sise. And in accordance with practice direction I issued pursuant to section 143 of the Constitution. The use of modern technology platforms to conduct remote or virtual court proceedings was, under the practice direction, permitted in respect of urgent matters, particularly criminal matters, including applications for bail and dispensing with the physical presence or conference of the parties to the case, the judge and the court officials, and instead connecting all the participants through some technical mechanism to conduct proceedings. Between them, the 2 pilot virtual courts were able to hear and determine, between May and December last year, 27 criminal cases and 49 civil cases. The subordinate magistrates' courts also succeeded during this period in hearing and determining a substantial number of bail applications on an emergency basis. Both exercises contributed to the decongestion of the prisons at the height of 2020. With the successes of the pilot stage, the virtual courts program has now been extended to the magistrates' court in the West Coast region, the North Bank region, Lower River, Upper River, Central River South, and also the Provincial High Court in Basse, with the UNDP providing the much needed equipment and internet connectivity. It is clear now, however, that what was initiated as just an ad hoc and temporary response to the challenges posed by COVID to the administration of justice should, given its benefits, remain a permanent feature of the judicial process, minimizing without prejudice to fair and effective hearing the need for the physical presence of all parties in court, and providing, amongst others, for the filing and service of documents as well as delivery of judgments by remote means. As part of its recently adopted ICT strategy, the judiciary plans to expand the program and ensure that the required rule changes are made to consolidate the use of these systems. The courts have now, of course, fully resumed their operations, I am pleased to report. I recognize with great appreciation the valiant efforts of both the judicial and support staff across the whole system, and also the members of the bar members of the Gambia Police Force, the Prison Service, the National Agency for Legal Aid, officers of the Drug Law Enforcement Agency, and indeed litigants as well as witnesses to keep the machinery of justice functioning despite the challenges in these times. Your Excellency and distinguished guests, some considerable progress has been made in respect of many activities which had been planned for the 2020 legal year. I am pleased to report the commencement of the construction of the Bundung Court Complex, which will accommodate high courts, magistrates' courts, and Cadi's courts, following the laying of the foundation stone at the last legal year ceremony. We are now looking forward to completion of construction of the complex in the first half of this year. The decentralization of the machinery of justice has also received a boost with the reactivation of the Industrial Tribunal for Kanifing and its relocation to new premises. We are grateful to the UNDP for providing new equipment to enable the tribunal to function more efficiently. Pursuant to the provisions of the Labour Code, I have also, in consultation with the Ministry of Trade and Employment, appointed the Industrial Tribunal members for Banjul and for each of the administrative regions of this country, thus creating a network of tribunals which we hope will facilitate the more expeditious settlement of industrial disputes. Since the opening of the last legal year also, the reach of the High Court has been extended with the opening of the High Court in Basse, the opening of a High Court in Bundung, and the commencement of operations of the Provincial High Court, sitting variously at Janjambure, Basse, Mansekonko, and Farafenni, and of course the opening of the High Court at Bakau as well. This has provided easier access to justice in the rural. And ensure a more conducive environment for the judicial management of family disputes. The improvement of the regulatory and governance framework of the judiciary has also taken a step forward with the validation of the draft Judicial Service Commission regulations in 2020, which now have been finalized adoption and promulgation by the Judicial Service Commission. Regulations will provide a comprehensive framework for staff management within the judiciary. And concurrently with this new legal framework, steps are now at an advanced stage, expected to be completed shortly, for the recruitment of the personnel of the Judiciary's Human Resources Unit in order to improve on staff management. The judicial system now includes a very extensive network countrywide of magistrates' courts and tribunals, as well as of Cadi courts. This calls for a more structured and a more effective system of supervising these courts and monitoring their performance. I have accordingly, in December 2020 and this month, January 2021, pursuant to powers vested in the Chief Justice by Section 143 of the Constitution, established two committees, respectively presided over by the Honorable Justice Bashiru Mahoney, Justice of the Court of Appeal, and the Honorable Mr. Omar Seka, Chairman of the Cadi Appeals Panel, to respectively supervise and monitor the magistrates' courts and tribunals, as well as the Cadi courts, and to be reporting to the Chief Justice on their performance. Following the expiry of the terms of its members, I have also reconstituted the membership of the Ethics Committee of the Judiciary, for it to be presided over by the Honorable Justice MMC, Justice of the Supreme Court, assisted by the Honorable Justice Kumbasila Kamara, and the Honorable Justice B.A. Bakri, respectively of the Gambia Court of Appeal and of the High Court. We look forward, as a result of this reconstitution, to a more robust enforcement of the Code of Conduct for judicial officers, that is to say, for judges, magistrates, and cadis. The legal regime relating to the justices of the peace, that is JPs, commissioners of oaths and notaries public, is also currently under review, with a view to ensuring improvement in the conditions and procedures for appointment, as well as in oversight and in discipline. We are grateful indeed to Ms. Ida Drame for the work she has undertaken and submitted in this respect, which is currently under review. I am pleased to report, Your Excellency and distinguished guests, that the complement of Gambian judges in the Supreme Court has increased following the elevation of the Honorable Justice Awaba, then President of the Gambia Court of Appeal, and Honorable Justice Idris Mbai, then Justice of the Appeals Court. The elevation is significant, as the Supreme Court now enjoys a full complement of 7 local judges, and it will no longer need the corps judges from the Gambia Court of Appeal when it exercises its jurisdiction to review its previous decisions. The work program of the Supreme Court has also been reviewed and revised to move away from sessional sittings, given the number of local judges available, and instead to sit and hear cases more frequently in order to ensure speedier disposal of its caseload. In this respect, we are looking forward to the strong cooperation of the members of the bar to ensure that their cases are ready when the court is ready to proceed with hearings. Following the elevation of the Honorable Justice Bar to the Supreme Court, the Honorable Justice Omar Njai has been appointed as the President of the Gambia Court of Appeal. Since we last gathered here, there has also been a change in the leadership of the management of the judiciary, with the appointment of by His Excellency the President, in consultation with the Judicial Service Commission, of Aissatou Diallo C. You know her now. She's been the MC for this occasion, as the Judicial Secretary and immediate assistant to the Chief Justice. The membership of the Judicial Service Commission is also being reconstituted with 2 new members, including the Honorable Mrs. Elizabeth Rena, former Speaker of the National Assembly, and Mr. Suleiman Samba, former Secretary General and Head of the Civil Service, both of whom bring their much valued experience of public service to the Commission. We welcome also the Honorable Mr. Daura Jallo on his new appointment as the Attorney General, Minister of Justice, and leader of the bar, and look forward to working with the new First Law Officer and Chief Legal Advisor to the government. We congratulate the judges concerned on their well-deserved elevation. The Honorable Attorney General, Minister of Justice, the new members of the JSC, and the new Judicial Secretary on their appointments, and we wish them successful tenures of office. We extend our gratitude to His Excellency President of the Republic for the appointment of these judges on the recommendation of the JSC. Unfortunately, in the course of the past year, we lost some members of staff. His Worship Manlafi Jaju, Senior Magistrate, and Mr. Haruna Jaite, Principal Assistant Secretary, both of whom had for long served the judiciary with diligence and dedication, passed away. Staff members also lost loved ones. We extend our condolences to their families, and we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants the departed ones His peace and His mercy, and grants them an abode in His paradise. Amen. Turning now to the bar, I would first want to congratulate you on your turnout today. It's quite an impressive turnout, and I speak as one who has been attending legal year since 1982, when it was first celebrated. The turnout today is unprecedented, and I take this as a demonstration by a new generation of lawyers of their commitment to supporting the judiciary, supporting justice, supporting the rule of law. We are indeed grateful for your turnout. The bar, of course, is an important partner and stakeholder in the administration of justice. Hence, its capacity, its discipline, and its professional conduct continue to be of paramount concern to the General Legal Council, which is its regulatory body. In the course of 2020, the Gambia Law School graduated 61 students who were eventually called to the bar. Of those called, 39 are Gambians, with the rest coming from various African countries. Following the conclusion of their pupillage, 46 new Gambian legal practitioners were enrolled towards the end of last year and are now entitled, subject to certain limitations, to practice as lawyers in the Gambia. Most recently, another batch of 30 Gambians have just concluded their pupillage and are awaiting evaluation for enrollment as legal practitioners. I have already spoken about the 51 who have just finished their training at the law school and are now about to begin their pupillage. So the bar thus continues to grow steadily and to provide a strong base from which to draw human resources in order to service not only the legal system, but also provide its full capacity in other fields, public as well as private, for this country. Numbers, however, should not be at the expense of quality, at the expense of professionalism and of good quality. Hence, the General Legal Council is moving simultaneously on other fronts as well. The Education Committee of the Council, presided over by the Honorable Justice Amina Saho Sise, has been conducting a thorough review of the entire legal education sector, from university to law school to pupillage to post-enrollment, with a view to ensuring quality legal education and quality performance by legal practitioners. The committee is expected to submit its reports and recommendations shortly to the Council. Furthermore, a recently concluded review of the Legal Practitioners Act has proposed a restructuring of the disciplinary committee of the Council in order to facilitate speedier hearing and determination of complaints against lawyers. The Council urges the government in this respect, and more particularly the Attorney General, and looks forward to the early enactment this year of the necessary implementing legislation. In the course of the year, therefore, we expect these two developments, which we are confident can impact both on the quality of legal education in the Gambia and also on the quality of legal practice. Legal education does not, however, end with the call to the bar and with enrollment as a legal practitioner. A lifetime of learning awaits the legal practitioner who aspires to be successful in his profession. Continuing education in law or otherwise is the key not only to personal success, but also to institutional capacity building, to institutional efficiency, to institutional excellence. Hence, the continuous, very active program of the Judicial Training Institute under the leadership of the Honorable Justice Awaba. In the course of 2020, the Institute organized a number of training programs for judicial officers and support staff in collaboration with other agencies. The judiciary itself conducted an induction program for 11 newly promoted magistrates, and the UNDP, on the other hand, sponsored online training for judges on international criminal justice and international crimes, such as torture, disappearances, etc., and this in preparation for possible trials at the conclusion of the transitional justice processes. In collaboration with the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Employment, an induction program was also organized for the new chairpersons and industrial panel members across the country. The UNICEF, we are happy to report, sponsored training for 49 registry staff on data collection and management, as well as records preparation in cases relating to children, and also organized another session for 59 magistrates, cadis, and children's court personnel members on the handling of child witnesses, management of victims, and of alleged child offenders. The training program for this year, 2021, will kick off in a few days with training for the registry staff on court records management and information management, which we are pleased to report is sponsored by the British government in collaboration with the UK Judicial College and the Commonwealth Magistrates and Judges Association. The Judiciary Training Institute also plans this year to organize training sessions on sentencing guidelines for magistrates in order to promote consistency and uniformity as far as is possible in sentencing, and to organize as well focused training sessions for specialized sections of the judiciary, such as the Sheriff's Division and the court-connected ADR system. We are indeed grateful to all the sponsors for their support of our training programs and look forward to their continued cooperation. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, much more remains to be done in the face of current challenges and in the face of challenges that lie ahead. Court proceedings continue to be seriously hampered by the shortage of courtrooms. There is a need for greater investment in physical infrastructure to provide more courtrooms so that as many of the judicial officers, especially magistrates, can function simultaneously as is possible. There is need for offices for judges, magistrates, cadis, and administrators. Transport and equipment shortcomings stand in the way of efficient delivery of services and the secure movement of judicial officers. Reform of court rules and court practices remains a top priority. Internally, we will focus on making the necessary rule changes, improving managerial capacity and staff discipline in order to enhance the capacity for the judiciary's mission. We shall embark on the development of an action plan following the conclusion of a scheduled workshop for next week to promote greater use of alternative dispute resolution and out-of-court settlement in order to ensure that only cases that should come to court end up coming to court. What can be settled out of court should be settled out of court as far as civil cases are concerned. Out of the dialogue with justice stakeholders scheduled for next week, we hope to be able to forge the necessary consensus and partnership among stakeholders on the need, on the means, and on the way forward for securing the independence and efficiency of the judiciary, both within the context of the National Development Plan and in the overall national objective of securing the rule of law, democracy, peace, and progress. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, if this routine annual event of the opening of the legal year is of special significance this year, it will be due largely to our proposed launch of the judiciary's 5-year strategic plan covering the period 2021 to 2025 in the course of today's ceremony. Crafted in the context of the #1 priority of the National Development Plan of restoring and consolidating good governance, the strategic plan provides a framework, a roadmap, and an action plan for the many things that remain to be done and many things that need to be done in order to promote our vision of the judiciary as an independent, effective, and efficient justice system for upholding the rule of law. A system promoting its mission to ensure a fair, impartial, and timely delivery of quality justice. The strategic plan that we launch today clearly identifies its vision, it identifies the mission of the institution, and it identifies 8 outcome-oriented goals, including the need to strengthen the independence of the judiciary and its autonomy, to upgrade and expand the physical infrastructure, to restructure and strengthen organizational and institutional capacity, improve the efficiency of court processes and service delivery, develop the human resources capacity required, harness technology to support court functions, improve access to the courts and tribunals, and improve communication and stakeholder confidence in the institution. And in respect of each of these goals, the plan sets out various related strategic objectives, the key activities that need to be undertaken, the time frame within which they should be undertaken, the actors responsible for implementation, the key performance indicators, and where possible, the funding required for implementation. I believe this plan provides a very comprehensive framework and action guide to guide future action and investment for the development of the judiciary. Our commitment to implementation is key and must remain firm and unwavering. The leadership and staff of the judiciary, the legal profession, government agencies, the donor community, civil society, all have important roles to play in this respect in regard to implementation of the plan. And we look forward later this year to the convening later this year of a donor conference with the assistance of the Minister of Finance the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the United Nations Development Programme in order to secure the very substantial investment that is required for transformation of the goals and aspirations of the plan into practical achievements. It is important to remember in this respect that investment in justice has a social and economic dividend. That investment in justice is an investment for the rule of law and for democracy. Investment in justice is an investment for peace, is an investment for progress, and an investment for development. Many have contributed to the development of the plan: judges and other judicial officers, staff of the judiciary, particularly the late Haruna Jaite, who was the driving personality behind it, the legal profession, the bench and the bar, our team of consultants, AB and company legal practitioners, and many others. We are indeed grateful to all of them for their very valuable contributions to the development of the plan. I must, however, single out for special mention the UNDP, which under the leadership of Madam Aissata Dey has sponsored the consultancy for the preparation of the plan and also funded the 3 workshops convened to consider the draft and funded as well its publication. The UNDP under Madam Dey's leadership has been a strong supporter and partner for the judiciary, providing books and equipment, sponsoring consultants for various projects, including the preparation of the judiciary ICT plan, the judiciary strategic plan, the Judicial Service Commission regulations, the preparation and launch of the rule of law roadmap, etc. We are indeed very grateful for such support and look forward to this continued partnership to provide and sustain access to quality justice and adherence to the rule of law. Above all, it is immensely fitting and appropriate that the Judiciary Strategic Plan 2021 to 2025 is launched by none other than Your Excellency the President, given your deep commitment to justice, your commitment to the rule of law, and your government's actions in giving reality to this commitment. It is therefore my great honor and pleasure, Your Excellency, to invite you to launch the Judiciary Strategic Plan 2021 and to declare open the 2021 legal year. Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, the Vice President, Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, my Lord the Chief Justice, Justices of the Superior Courts, Magistrates and Cadis, Honorable Ministers, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, members of the Gambia Bar Association, and all lawyers present, members of the staff of the judiciary, senior government officials, and service chiefs, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is with great honor that I preside over the official opening of the 2020-2021 legal year.
But allow me first to wish you all a happy, safe, and prosperous year. While we reflect on 2020 as a trying and extraordinary year globally, let me reassure you that my government remains firm and passionate about promoting and upholding good governance, the rule of law, and respect for human rights are spelled out in the National Development Plan 2018-2021. Because the plan ends this year, it is necessary that we begin the evaluation process of our performance so far, with a view to designing a successor plan. In the interim, we can pride ourselves on the significant achievements recorded in the key areas of good governance, human rights, rule of law, and women empowerment. Furthermore, all the institutions and mechanisms that we promised to deliver have been realized. They include the National Human Rights Commission, the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, the Constitutional Review Commission, the Security Sector Reform, and the Women Enterprise Fund established under the Women Enterprise Fund Act, which seeks to uplift the socio-economic status of women. Several other themes have been designed as well to transform the lives of our youth and the general populace. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on international obligations, the Gambia is party to 6 core international human rights treaties, namely the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, the International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, the International Convention on the Elimination of all forms of discriminations against women, the International Convention on the Elimination of all forms of racial discrimination, the Convention on the Rights of the Child, and the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. As a signatory to these treaties, we are committed and determined as a state to respect and protect human rights. Accordingly, all of us must refrain from attempting to curb or interfere in the rights of any person in the country. I am pleased and proud to state boldly that we are in full compliance with our reporting obligations on all the 6 core human rights treaties. In fact, my government has made substantial strides in safeguarding the rights of the Gambian people and all those within the jurisdiction of the Gambia. Institutional human rights violations are a thing of the past, and the government is about to domesticate key human rights instruments. The Convention Against Torture, reflected in the Prevention and Prohibition of Torture Bill, is set for approval soon. It is designed to ensure that acts of torture and inhuman and degrading treatment are not meted out to any person within our jurisdiction. We acknowledge the significance of administrating justice in an open, free and democratic society such as ours. Thus, we are fully committed to protecting the independence of the judiciary. To sustain a functional legal system, the security of tenure, and the separation of the organs of state through the principle of non-interference, are guaranteed under my leadership. This should restore and maintain confidence in the Gambia's justice system. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, For the first time in Gambian history, the judiciary is implementing a strategic plan for the period 2021-2025 in order to deliver justice without fear or favor, honestly, consistently, and devotedly in the public interest. This reassurance complements my New Year's message, in which I call on all personnel of institutions and disciplines across all sectors to adopt quality performance and quality results as their mantra. An indigenized and gender-inclusive judiciary continue to be a main focus of this government. As a result, we have made key achievements in the elevation and appointment of judges to the Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, and the High Court as provided for in the strategic plan. With due concern, my administration is dedicated to addressing the infrastructural deficit within the judiciary, as well as supporting its computerization programs for speedy disposal of cases. It is in this regard that we welcome the strategic plan of the judiciary as a tool to transform the sector and engender public confidence in the administration of justice. At this point, I have the honor and privilege to use this occasion to officially launch the Judiciary Strategic Plan 2021-2025, which was validated and adopted last year, 2020. With regard to the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia 2020 Promulgation Bill and its failure to meet the required threshold at the National Assembly, Cabinet have designated the Attorney General and Minister of Justice to spearhead a consultation process with the support of the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance. The consultation is aimed at mandating to build consensus with political parties on the contentious issues raised during the National Assembly debate when the bill was tabled. The objective is to secure the endorsement of a constitution that reflects the wishes and aspirations of the Gambian people. In the area of transnational justice, the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission's mandate has been extended by 6 months to allow for the completion of the Commission's report and recommendations. The Ministry of Justice will study the report and advise on its adoption and implementation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on the security sector reform, Cabinet has approved for the first time a vetting agency bill to vet security personnel and government officials in respect of access to sensitive information. This is to assure accountability and transparency and to devise a mechanism of filtering out persons complicit in human rights violations and abuses. It is worth observing that through the security sector reform, a lot has been achieved since its inception in 2017. To cite examples, we now have a comprehensive audit of all personnel in the security service. Also, I have launched the National Security Strategy and the Security Sector Reform Strategy. Both are meant to catalyze and add impetus to the overall security sector reform. The strategies will form the basis for further reform initiatives in the sector. Besides this, key legislations have been proposed for enactment by the National Assembly in order to update our laws and align them with international best practices. They include the Criminal and Criminal Procedure Code bills, the Prohibition of Torture Bill, the International Crimes Bill, and the Access to Information Bill. Additionally, plans are on the way to table before the National Assembly the Election Bill, Labour Bill, Estate Agents Bill, and the Judicial Official Condition of Service Bill. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the National Human Rights Commission has been granted financial autonomy, making a milestone in the realization of their mandate. The Commission has registered tremendous progress as part of its mandate through advisory notes and recommendations to government. These have contributed to aligning domestic legislations with international treaty obligations. Turning to the judiciary under the Chief Justice, I commend you all for the successful novel virtual hearing prompted by the COVID-19 pandemic. The initiative has helped to hear cases of those in pre-trial detention. By the same token, we are thankful to the UNDP for supporting this venture, which has been replicated in other countries in the sub-region. Finally and importantly, I thank all members of the legal fraternity for their unwavering dedication to the administration of justice and for upholding the rule of law. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are in an election year, it is vital that we conduct ourselves with dignity and as law-abiding citizens. We must desist from spreading all types of hate speeches calculated to bring about hatred, either or among any ethnic or religious group. I urge all Gambians and non-Gambians living in the country to continue to respect the laws of the country and the law enforcement agencies, whose primary duty is to guarantee a safe and peaceful Gambia for all. My government will continue to play its role of promoting national stability, peace, and tranquility. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to declare the 2020-2021 legal year officially open. I thank you for your kind attention.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, President Adama Barrow, the Honorable Chief Justice of the Gambia, Justices of the Superior Courts, Honorable Attorney General, Minister of Justice, Cabinet members present, distinguished invitees, ladies and gentlemen, as well as those watching through live streaming, all protocols respectfully observed. Thank you, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, for that statement. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for those words of support for the Judiciary Strategic Plan, which involves us all. We appreciate your kind words. We all look forward to the great improvements that lie ahead. Thank you for encouraging and reminding us. It is good to be reminded, because sometimes we take things for granted, but what we will not take for granted, it's His Lordship, the Chief Justice. I stand before you with a deep sense of honor, privilege, and humility to express on behalf of the Honorable Chief Justice and the entire judiciary staff our profound gratitude to Your Excellency, Mr. President, for having taken time off your very busy schedule to join us here today and celebrate the official opening of the legal year 2021. We are very grateful indeed, Your Excellency. Your speech has emphasized the important role played by the judiciary in any democracy and touched on crucial aspects relevant to a health and thriving democratic dispensation like ours in this country. My Lord, Honorable Chief Justice, Mr. Justice Asan B. Jallo, our deep gratitude to you for all your initiatives, which you have championed in transforming the judiciary from its dark days of mistrust, despondency, of litigants. Although there is still a long way to go, but we have no doubt that in your vision and wisdom to move this institution of justice to the height as the last bastion of hope, we know all of us here will go the extra mile to have that aim achieved. Your Excellency, the judiciary, under the visionary leadership of Honorable Chief Justice, is determined to meet the aspirations and trust reposed on us. An expansion of the courts to all regions of this country is indeed in line with global trends of progressive judiciaries, as this encourages speedy disposal of cases before the courts. This, in turn, can only be good for the quality of the product of justice in the end, to the benefit of litigants and the image of the country for doing business. Let me also thank the honorable judges for their review and feedback on the finalization of the strategic plan, as well as your unwavering commitment, past, present, and future, for achieving the objectives of the plan. I thank the governors, chiefs, and district tribunal members for their cooperation. In closing, it would be remiss of me not to acknowledge and thank management and the entire staff of the judiciary for the wonderful support and invaluable service they are rendering in ensuring work is not stalled despite the numerous challenges they face. I thank you in advance for the work and you may need to do in implementing the plan and in meeting its targets. Special thanks go to the consultant AB & Co, who guided us in developing the strategic plan. Special thanks goes to the Attorney General and Minister of Justice and his staff for their cooperation. Let me thank the media for the coverage of court matters and this historic event, and for your future and fair reporting of court cases and issues. As stated before, this is an exciting event. We want to thank the police band for the entertainment. I wish to thank the development partners. They have been very, very helpful in assisting the judiciary in improving the delivering of legal services. And so we look forward to your continuing partnership with you in achieving the vision of the judiciary, which also aligns with the National Development Plan, that of making the Gambia a choice of place to live, work, raise a family, do business, and retire in peace. Once again, we express our gratitude to you all, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, for your presence. We thank you very much. We have now come to the end of the session, and we are now part of history. It has been really wonderful. And now I invite the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice, I want to thank you for presenting the strategic plan 2021 to 2025. His Excellency, the President. Thank you. Going forward, the plan will be our guide and would be our commitment to the people of the Gambia. It will be published on the website of the judiciary, and I encourage all of you to download it in your mobile devices, your phones, and your laptops. But before we disperse, I would like to make few announcements. The President will take pictures with the judges of the Superior Courts. Then this will be followed by another photo with the magistrates, and then with the caddies. From there, the President will shake hands with the staff of the judiciary and the Attorney General's chambers and Ministry of Justice, while the judges will proceed to the chambers of the Honorable Chief Justice for a closed-door session. Due to space constraint, we are allowing only the ministers, honorable judges, and the senior members of the bar into the chambers of the Honorable Chief Justice. I want to thank all of you present here for making this event a success. We thank everyone, and we wish you a safe journey home. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Your Excellency, the President would also like to take a photo with the members of the distinguished members of the bar. Thank you so much.
ñun ñoo bokk ndey ñoo bokk baay nañ leen ànd ak président Barrow jàmm la ici si réew mi bokk ndey la ici si réew mi juboo la ici si réew mi démocratie la ici si réew mi nañ leen ànd ak moom yàlla bàyyi ko fi 2021 ñu jël ko delloo ko si palais bi mu dem lekk ci wi koŋam alo ya Badou Konté man yoo laa fee xaar sa restaurant boobu noonu lay nim ne kon jajula hariti président Barrow la de ana ko hariti président Barrow la de bilay moo buga président Barrow salaamaaleykum Ah, waay président Barrow
Action.